blood-smeared altar of green stone. Talk about being stacked! If I hadn't checked the data myself, I'd swear you went overboard there, Chief. Exact likenesses, life size, Skandos II grunted. Tedric, 6'4", 230, muscle just like that. Rowan, 6 feet and half an inch, 190. The only time she ever appeared in the raw in public, I guess, but she didn't turn a hair. What a couple! Furman stared enviously. We don't have people like that anymore. Fortunately, no. He could split a full-armored man in two with a sword. She could strangle a tiger bare-handed. So what? All the brains of the whole damn tribe boiled down into one wouldn't equip a half-wit. Oh, I wouldn't say that, Furman objected. Fagan was a smooth, shrewd operator. In a way, sometimes, but committing suicide by wearing gold armor instead of high-alloy steel doesn't show much brain power. I'm not sure I'll buy that either. There were terrific pressures. But say Fagon had worn steel that day at Middlemarch Castle and lived 10 or 15 years longer. My guess is that Tedric would have changed the map of the world. He wasn't stupid, you know, just bullheaded, and Fagon could handle him. He would have pounded a lot of sense into his skull if he had lived. However, he didn't live, Skandos returned dryly. And so every decision Tedric ever made was wrong. But to get back to the point, did you see anything new? Not a thing. Neither did I. So go and see how 812 is doing. For time test number 811 had failed, and there was little ground for hope that number 812 would be any more productive. And the lurking Skandos One, who had been studying intensively every aspect of the situation, began to act. It was crystal clear that Time Track 2 could hold only one Skandos. One of them would have to vanish, completely, immediately, and permanently. Although in no sense a killer, by instinct or training, only one course of action was possible if his own life, and as a matter of fact all civilization, were to be conserved. Wherefore he synchronized and shot his unsuspecting double neatly through the head. The living Skandos changed places with the dead. A timer buzzed briefly. The time machine disappeared, completely out of synchronization with any continuum that a world's keenest brain and an ultra-fast calculator could compute. This would, of course, make another fork in time, but that fact did not bother Skandos One at all, now. As for Tedric, since the big dumb lug couldn't be made to believe that he, Skandos One, was other than a god, he'd be a god, in spades. He'd build an image of flesh-like plastic, exactly like the copper statue Tedric had made, and go back and announce himself publicly as the god Losir. He'd come back, along Time Track 3, of course, and do away with Skandos 3. There might have to be another interference, too, to get Tedric started along the right time track. He could tell better after seeing what Time Track 3 looked like. If so, it would necessitate the displacement of Skandos 4. So what? He had never had any qualms, and now that he had done it once, he had no doubt whatever as to his ability to do it twice more. Of the three standing beside Sarpedion's grisly altar, King Fagon was the first to become conscious of the fact that something should be done about his daughter's nudity. "Flasnir, your cloak!" he ordered sharply, and the Lady Rowan, unclamping her arms from around Tedric's armored neck and disengaging his steel-clad arm from around her waist, covered herself with the proffered garment. Partially covered, that is, for since the cloak had come only to mid-thigh on the courtier, and since she was a good 7 inches taller than he, the coverage might have seemed, to a prudish eye, something less than adequate. "Chamberlain Shillen, Captain Skiro," the captain went on briskly. "Haul me this carrion to the river and dump it in. Put men to cleaning this place. 'Tis not seemly so." The designated officers began to bawl orders, and Tedric turned to the girl, who was still just about as close to him as she could get, awe, wonder, and relieved shock still plain on her expressive face.